All right, it's 5 o'clock. We're gonna start. And for those of you I haven't met in person or virtually yet, my name is Andy Bacon. I'm the race director and owner of EX2 Adventures. Um, and this is the award ceremony, award announcements, top finisher announcements for this year's Backyard BRRR Virtual Challenge. This is the sixth annual challenge. We did this for the first time in January 2021 when the world was still sort of very much post-COVID, figuring out what the world was going to be like and how it was going to evolve. And I will start by saying, you know, when I came up with the idea for the Backyard BRRR, it's a play off of our popular in-person trail running series, the Backyard BRRN, BURN. Um, it started as a running only challenge back in 2021. And then years after that, we added the sort of anything goes multi-sport component. I think the first year, it was actually the largest event that EX2 ever had in our, at that time, 20 plus year existence. And I was floored. I had zero expectations of how it was going to go. And it was amazed. It was also the biggest fundraiser we ever had at that point in time for our nonprofit partner Homestretch. But then every year after that, around October, I start sort of thinking about it, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm not sure anybody's going to sign up, And then the second year, it was our biggest event again. And then the third year, I had the same thought, well, no one's going to sign up. And as COVID kind of got farther and farther away, that feeling of, hey, I wonder if anybody's going to do this anymore sort of grew a little bit. But every year, the event has been a great success on lots of metrics, including getting lots of people outside and active and being fun and being engaging, I hope, and raising a ton of money for our charity partner Homestretch. And so I have several thank yous, but I just wanted to give you a little bit of context. I've been doing this for 6 years, and it's an event that is really sort of near and dear to my heart. It's something that I wasn't sure how it was going to go, and it's been just a wild amount of fun in something that I wasn't sure was going to last. So thank you very much for participating, and I hope you had fun, and I hope it provided some motivation to get outside more than you maybe would have, and do a little bit more than you would have, and maybe make some new friends and get some people involved that you work with or socialize with or work out with. I'm very grateful. So thank you. So here's what we're going to talk about. I'll have a few more thank yous. I'll talk a little bit about Homestretch, quick swag update, a thank you to our corporate partners, some big picture results, and then we'll go into the top team, top individual and top team finishers. So that's what we're going to do. If anybody has a question, type it in chat. I do have the chat open, so that's the best way if you have a question or something. I am recording this, and so we'll be able to send it out to all the participants afterwards. So again, I want to say thank you for your support of this event and of EX2 Adventures. We're, if you're not really familiar with EX2, we're a small little company based in Northern Virginia. We've been around for a long time, 20 plus years, and most of what we do is putting on outdoor adventure sports. So trail running races, mountain bike races, adventure races, gravel cycling events. And we had some virtual stuff back in 2020, and the Backyard BRRR was invented then, and we've had this event ever since. This is our one really virtual event, and it's become something special. And I also want to thank you for all your support of Homestretch. I'll talk more about that in a second. Thanks for your photos and engagement on social media. I am not a big social media person myself, and every month of January, I post more in the month of January, trying to set, I guess, an example to encourage other people to do it than I do the whole rest of the year. It's like crickets February through December, and then it's like a massive spike of Andy pictures, and then it goes away again. But I appreciate you doing it, and it really does wonders in making, I think, does great in making us feel connected, even though we're spread all over the country and the world. And thanks for your referring your friends, family, and colleagues. That's how people hear about this event really, and that's honestly all of our events. A lot of it is word of mouth spreading. So thank you for doing that. It makes a big difference. I also want to say a big thank you. There are 93 people who have done all six backyard burrs, which is really awesome. And so if you're on this call or you're listening to this later, I just want to say thanks very much for rowing with us for all these years and supporting us, especially back in 2020 and 2021 when the future of things was extremely uncertain, and helping us keep people active and do some good, and just kind of keep the outward momentum and the outdoors momentum going. So thank you. Again, thanks for all the pictures. I think we uploaded to run sign up like 2,500 pictures or so for this challenge. Lots of activity on social media. And I tell you, I get an email every time someone registers for one of our events. And I do that on purpose because I like to sort of start recognizing names and knowing names. Um, and I meet lots of people at in-person events. But when people post pictures and I look at faces, it's so helpful to start connecting those names with faces, and it's so great and so motivating to see what kind of other people are doing and like what their environment looks like. They could be all the way across the country, and you see them doing something outside, and you're just like, oh, maybe I should go outside today, or just pushing you on just a little bit. And so I know it's not everybody's jam to like, post on social media or post stuff or whatever, but I appreciate the effort that everyone made to do that because it helped me, and I'm sure it helped other people who are participating in the BRRR. So thanks for that. And if you haven't looked at the photo album on Run Sign Up, you can kind of like skim through it. It really is a hoot to kind of see what everybody's up to. There's some great pictures on there. Okay, Homestretch. So Homestretch has been our nonprofit partner for this event since the beginning. It was also one of our initial charity partners when we started our nonprofit partner program back in May of 2020. For this particular event, we had about 1,200 participants, and we had over 500 individual donations and lots of corporate donations. If you add all that up, the total donated to Homestretch to this event alone was 28,677, which is really amazing. Just like all our in-person events, the way we support that fundraising is we basically match everyone's donations, including corporate donations, by 10%. So we added 2,800 some odd dollars to that. And then if someone opted out of a finisher medal, it's about $5 or so for a finisher medal. And so I basically add up all that money, and that'll go to Homestretch as well. So that was like 700 and change. And then just to make it an even $5,000 donation, I added $343. And so the total donation to Homestretch collectively from those 500 individuals plus the corporations plus EX2's part is about $33,500, which is really fantastic. Homestretch is not a massive organization, and they do tremendous amounts of good, helping families with kids get back on their feet, and it's meaningful to them. So know that if you did make a donation, you donate to an organization that's wonderful and does a lot of good, and it's going to a good place and helping people who need it. Over the last 6 years, gosh, now we've almost donated almost 300,000 to Homestretch through our events, and almost we're approaching 400K across all our charity partners, and that's largely due to the generosity of the people in our community who do our events, and that is a wonderful thing, and I'm very grateful to be a part of it. Barfons, who's the executive director of Homestretch, sent these words, and I'm going to read it, but I want to highlight some of the words because I think it'll help you appreciate how Homestretch is different. So she says, on behalf of everyone at Homestretch, thank you for walking, running, biking, paddling, skiing alongside families as they work to rebuild their lives. Just as progress and exercise is a little bit at a time, stability and resilience grow through steady support, encouragement, and belief. Your generosity provides more than essential resources. It offers families the confidence to keep moving forward even when the path feels challenging. Because of partners like all of us, parents and children are gaining strength, momentum, and hope for a brighter future. And we're deeply grateful for your partnership and commitment to helping families go the distance. So that's, again, words from Bar Fonts, and I'm very grateful. The thing about Homestretch, I encourage you to learn more about it and get involved if you choose. It's more than just a housing program. They do provide housing, but they really provide wraparound services to all the folks that are in their programming, including the kids. And so, as a dad myself, one of the things that attracts me to an organization like Homestretch and wanted me to support it is I just think about, if my wife or I fell on hard times and, it's of no fault of our children, and so these kids are brought along and put in these situations where they have no control over what's going on, but they're certainly feeling the impacts. And an organization like Homestretch does everything they can, again, provides those wraparound services around the entire family to help them become self-sufficient. And so it's a really great organization. I encourage you to learn more about it, and get involved if you choose. But thanks again for everybody who made a donation. It really is very meaningful. Thank you. All right, swag. So we had swag this year. We did some new stuff. So we did socks. I don't know if anybody got the socks, but they came out really, really great. We started doing these a couple years ago. And we did the hats again, a couple different colors of hats, and the t-shirt. That's the tech t-shirt I'm wearing. And the buff came out great this year. And then the metal, I'll talk more about the metal design in just a second, but we don't ship stuff very often. It's like a once a year thing. And I've gotten pretty good at the process we do it, but it's a lot. And literally, members of our EX2 operations team who help conduct the events with me, they literally come to my house and we set up like a little assembly line in my living room and our kitchen this year. It was too cold to go in the garage. And we just pack all this stuff up and I bring it to the post office like on Monday. And I go in the back door of the post office, ask them, they give me these giant containers. I dump all of it in. And every year I'm like, oh my God, is this stuff actually going to make it? Because it's just like amazing to me how it works. But it gets there. And I know lots of people have already gotten their packages. So thanks to our team and thanks for the magic of the Postal Service, I guess, to make all this stuff happen. If anybody didn't get their stuff or it came in damaged or it's not what you want or something, just feel free to email me and I'll do my very best to make sure you're well taken care of. So one little fun tidbit is the evolution of this logo that we use for the Backyard BRRRR. So the one all the way on the left, the snowball thing, that was the original logo that we came up with back in 2021. And we used that for several years. Last year, before the BRRRR, I was kind of messing around. This is when ChatGPT was really starting to be used a lot, I guess about a year and a half ago, maybe, by like lay people like me. I was like, what happens if I just like type this prompt in and like, give me this particular logo? Well, that little mountain thing with the lake in front of it is what it generated. And I gave that to a graphic artist and they came up with the logo that we used last year, which is the one in the blue frame with the mountain in the middle. And I was like, this is kind of cool. And so it got me thinking, I'm like, well, maybe we just like tweak the logo every year. I don't know what we're going to do. So I did it again, basically that same kind of process. And the one on the bottom, where the metal sort of came from, that was like one of the images that were popped out of the AI machine that was tweaked by some graphic artist. But that was what we came up with. And then the shirt design sort of morphed from there. I hope you like it. I try to do something different, because same t-shirts every year kind of get a little stale. So maybe we'll do something different next year. I'll definitely do a different, probably color t-shirt. But I hope you like it. It's hard to design a t-shirt that 1,000 people are all going to like the same. But I hope you get some use out of it. So that's just a little tidbit about that. All right, corporate partners, another thank you. So we had a wonderful group of corporate partners. They are not only really significantly amplifying our fundraising that we're doing for Homestretch. So out of that 28,000 and change, 11,000 of it came from our corporate partners. So that's almost 40% of the money that we give to Homestretch comes from these organizations that want to get involved. And they also represent almost 20% of participants, which is awesome. And so uh, we had really great participation. Fairfax Neonatal Associates at Doe, um, his organization donated the most financially, is $2,500 donation to Homestretch, which I'm extremely grateful for. So Ed and all the folks at your organization, thank you. Um, Biggest team was corporate team was MetroStar. So Tucker Newberry, my good friend Tucker, has been a ringleader of the BRRRR for many years now, and his firm MetroStar came on in a big way. I think they had 80 participants across a whole bunch of teams. We also had really big participants from NT Concepts, and that connection was via Tucker. Um, ATS also had I think they had 40 some odd people. Canmore came on this year as a new partner. Veros has been great the last couple of years. Same with Excella and Black Cape. Um, Again, Black Cape came on through a connection through Donna Veens, and so, um, and then of course our friends at Baird Automotive, Joey Baird, and Eric Scudder from Trailhead, who are massive, massive supporters of EX2 in general. You put all that together. Oh, I forgot Sheehy. I'm sorry. Sheehy is another great supporter. They also made a large donation to Homestretch. It's great. And so thanks for participating. If you're on a corporate team, I hope you had fun. And thank you for all the support, both with participation and with the fundraising. It really has been fantastic. And so thank you. All right. Now we're going to get the results. So there's some gee whiz stuff. I have some cool little charts that I made up, which are just kind of fun to look at, but I'll go through some of this. And 1,200 small participants, 40 states, a bunch of countries. We had somebody from Germany, the UK, Canada, um, and most of the states here in the US. 170 teams, almost 150,000 total miles, which is more than halfway to the moon for anybody following the Artemis mission kind of happening pretty soon. It's kind of fun. It's a long way, by the way, if you're going to the moon. A lot of push-ups, like a ton of push-ups. So in terms of inside and outside activities, so there's lots of different ways to measure this. The total miles, it was a little bit, this year was a little bit less than 50% outside. I think that's low because I know for a fact that everybody writes outside in the comment. I know that's for a fact. So it's probably a little bit higher than that. And then of all the activities, so we had 31,000 activities, which is doing something non-push-up. So that's like going for a walk, going for a ride, whatever. 60% of those activities were outside. Like I said, a ridiculous amount of push-ups. 214 people recorded at least 31 outdoor activities, and 618 people recorded at least 31 outside miles. I think that's also probably a little bit low if people didn't put the outside comment. That's how I know an activity is outside. But one thing I've learned over the last couple of years is like the general gist of like getting outside every day in January sounds easy, but it's like it is proven sneaky hard. Um, we do it as a family in our house. My 12-year-old has done it every year. My 7-year-old, this is her first time. My wife joked, she said, I didn't make it this year. I just 2 days I didn't make it outside. It's harder than it seems. And so if you did make it outside every day in January, given the weird weather, the ups and downs and the cold January that we had, at least here in the mid-Atlantic, it's pretty amazing. And know that you did something awesome. And if you didn't make it, that's okay. I hope that you did more than you thought you could and kept moving forward because that's what the challenge is about and it's what life's about. There's also the miles breakdown. Not surprisingly, we had a lot of cycling miles. For right or wrong, a lot of those cycling miles some of them are inside, right? I'll talk more about that in a second. What I want to highlight though, and why I show these gee whiz miles is that the second most amount of miles you'd think maybe off the cuff would be running in a competition like that, but it's not. It's walking. We have a ton of people who walk as a part of their exercise, hopefully regularly, but definitely as part of this challenge. And I am a proponent of the walks. It's good for your mind and good for your body, and the fresh air is great. So I always encourage people to get outside, even if to go for a walk. And this is a testament to show that if people are actually out there walking. Of course, we had 1,200 miles swimming, which I'm an awful swimmer. So every time I look at that, I'm like amazed that a group of people can get together and swim 1,200 miles. Lots of paddling. We had a really cool accomplishment with outdoor paddling this year, which I'll talk about in a second. And then a boatload of skiing miles as well. After all, it is wintertime. All right, this is kind of fun. This is just there's two lines here. The top one is total miles. The bottom one shows outside miles. And what's interesting here is, we had a big snowstorm here on the 25th, 26th of January, and you can see the bottom line kind of drops off like a cliff in the last week of the challenge, with the exception of like the 30th and 31st, which is basically everybody like sort of like saying, "Oh, I got to go outside. I got to like, finish strong." I thought that was just kind of interesting that you had this sort of trough at the end. Um, this is a little bit hard to read, but I'll explain it. And there is a story here. So the green line, so these are all outdoor running. So outdoor running, walking, cycling. So green is cycling, blue is outdoor running, orange is outdoor walking. And so again, the 25th, 26th is when we had that snowstorm. So if you look at like dropping off a cliff, basically, we're outdoor cycling for sure, right? I know Tommy Burke was out there putting the miles in, but not many people were. The same with outdoor running miles. So we had a huge spike in walking miles. So that was, in my mind, two things. One, it was people going out and shoveling, which we have a little, exception for allowing sort of another activity in shoveling, because it is a heck of a workout. But it's also people going, "Hey, I got to go outside. I got to do something," right? So you got to get their mile in. So maybe they would have been cycling, maybe they would have been running. All they could do is basically go out for a walk, right? Shuffle along in the ice and the snow. So that's what I attribute that to. And so I just thought that was kind of cool. You can certainly see the impacts of weather. The other thing you see here, the spikes, those are weekends, as you'd expect. People doing lots of activities, lots of miles on the weekends. But I just thought that was kind of cool. Like you can see the impact of the snowstorm that we had. All right, so here's, I want to go through the top individual finishers. Before I do that, though, I just want to show you where the information is to get all this stuff. So in results, so this is the main Backyard BRRR thing on Run Sign Up. If you go to the results tab, there's two links here. Results will take you to the online leaderboard, which is just automatically updated. There's no push-ups. There's no differentiation between inside and outside. The detailed results will take you to this Google sheet that this year was the first. I used to do it once a week. Now I started doing it much more often. I have a much better process at running the data and getting it good enough to have it updated on a regular basis. This is just the overall GWiz stats. And then individuals, this is by default sorted by outdoor miles. And so this is outdoor miles sorted first, whereas the overall leaderboard is just total miles. And the same thing with teams and then the corporate teams. And so this is a Google sheet, but when you look at it from your computer, you have a view of it on your own. So you could filter the data, sort the data any which way to look at things that you care about. You can also use like the find feature to find yourself. One of the reasons I wanted to do this is the leaderboard is great for what it is. It's sort of like overall, right? But it doesn't place a lot of emphasis on outdoor activities. Whereas when I create a view and I sort it by outdoor miles first, it does sort of like re-put that emphasis on the outdoor nature of the event. So that's there. Take a peek at it. There's like ridiculous amounts of data. There's elevation, there's push-ups, walk miles outside, run miles outside, so on and so on and so on. Take a look and analyze to your heart's content. All right, so here's how things shook out. Um, Total miles. Again, this is indoor, outdoor, indoor and outdoor. There was quite a competition going on between several folks. But top overall female was Erin Shield with 15 and a half hundred miles. And then Corey Smith, who was leading the way most of the time, ended up with 16:13. Um, Heavily inside. It's a lot of miles to do outside. Heavily inside, lots of cycling miles, obviously, right? And Casey Patton led the category for overall miles in the non-binary category. Um, it's impressive though. Even if you're riding a spin bike, 1,500 miles in a month is ridiculous. So they are putting in some serious, serious effort to accomplish that. So congratulations to everybody. Then I looked at overall miles outside. So uh, Pierre came on top in the men. Uh, all miles, so 796, and all of his miles across the entire challenge were all outside. 800 is pretty amazing. Jennifer Catezi, she was awful close, very, very close. I think she was ahead of Pierre back and forth for a while. So Jen did awesome, 778. And again, all of her activities were outside as well. And again, Casey led our non-binary category, 144 outside. But congrats to Jen and Pierre. Super, super, super impressive. Then I looked at elevation gain. I did decide to not include inside miles in your elevation gain. Yes, there's people on a spin bike. You can go on Peloton and it calculates elevation and stair climbers and stuff like that. I decided not to do that. I just counted outdoor activities. And because I wanted to give credit to particularly these two individuals who I know were really crushing it outside and crushing it in a way that's not easy. And by that, I mean, like, they weren't, going up and down the WND, which is a flat bike path, for 8 hours a day, every day. So Tommy Burke, 45,000 miles, all miles outside. And so, Tom, congratulations, man. I know you were working really hard, and it's really impressive. So, congratulations. And then my friend Alex. So, Alex used to work with us on the EX2 staff. She recently moved up to New Hampshire. All of her activities outside, and she was over 35,000 feet. And what Alex was doing is she was doing some skiing. Now, a lot of skiing miles, we don't count elevation because you ride the ski lift up. But my friend Alex, I know for a fact that she was skinning up her mountain and skiing down. And so her ski miles are legit elevation. She's human powered going up and just crushed it. So congratulations to Tommy and Alex. You guys well deserved and hit a lot of hard work. So congratulations. All right, so running. Always extreme amounts of running miles, both inside and outside. Shawneen led overall, both inside and outside for the women. So 368 total and 305 outside. And then Keith Freeburn, 438 overall, with 284 of them being outside. So congratulations to both Shawneen and Keith for it's a long way. It's a long way. And then Andrea Tanner, again, congratulations, Andrea. She's done the challenge, or they've done the challenge for many years now and did great in our non-binary category. So congratulations, Andrea. All right, let's see. All right, walking. So walking, top female was Sarah Richards with 291 miles, and top male finisher was James Farah with 326. Casey Patton came in top. Casey's done the challenge several years now, and they won our non-binary category. Walking outside, Barbara Simone. Hi, Barbara. I know you're on the call. 269 miles walking outside. I wanted to highlight. I put a note, mostly all outside miles, and I wanted to. That's important. So the only ones I think you had maybe one indoor bike ride, and then if I remember correctly, 40 or 50, like not an insignificant amount of swimming miles. So congratulations to you. I know that was a pretty awesome effort, and 270 miles of any mode is a lot. Walking or running is ridiculous. So congratulations. And then Jason Gard, Jason's done the challenge many years now. All of his miles were outside, and he had 281 walking miles outside. So congratulations, Jason. And then Casey Patton, again, they finished in first in non-bar category 70 outdoor walking miles. Congratulations. Biking. So biking, this mimics the overall miles. Again, biking is heavily skewed sort of and connected to there's a high correlation to the overall miles. But Aaron, 1,500 miles, Corey, 1,600 miles, and Casey, 128. Congratulations to you all. And then also matching our overall top three, we had Jennifer Cortese, again, all miles outside, 581 miles of biking, and Pierre Martel, again, all miles outside, 749, which is an awful lot. It takes not only commitment, but really ridiculous amounts of consistency, which when it comes to fitness, consistency is the magic bullet. So congratulations to everybody. Swimming, Maria, 88 miles swimming, which is a new record for the Backyard BRRR. And just think about how many days there are in the month of January, and then do the math in your head how much that is a day. That is a lot. I heard that she was doing 2 a-days to kind of get that amount of swimming. That's a lot of miles. And then our friend Sandy, who is another ringleader of the BRRR in the aquatics arena, came in at right around 50 miles. So congratulations, Sandy. And Sandy, if you happen to see this or are listening, thank you very much for all your support, sort of rallying the troops in the pool. Paddling. So Sarah Pease, 273 miles of paddling. What was remarkable, it's all remarkable, but she also did 100 miles of paddling outside in the month of January. That is a lot. I think, and the only reason she got held back towards the end is because everything started to freeze. And so her only choice was to do stuff inside. So Sarah, that is awesome. And so congratulations. And then paddling, sort of slash rowing, Rick and Yale were rowers as part of the row house team. I think it's fascinating that across the whole month, 200 some odd miles of rowing on the rowing machine, they ended up like 0.3 miles apart from each other, and they're on the same team. So I hope you guys are friends after this. And so I hope probably some good heckling, but both super, super impressive. And so Rick and Yale, that's really ridiculous. Thanks. All right, paddling. Again, Sarah outside, and Brian got some early paddling miles outside. So you won the trophy, my friend, for outside miles. Congratulations. Skiing, Sarah Anderson, a cool 228 miles of skiing, and Cameron Finley, almost 350 miles of skiing. Push-ups is always makes my head scratch thinking about how these do it. Cody has topped this category for the last several years. 20,000 push-ups. If again, do the math in your head of how many that is per day, that is a lot. And Vanya Imler, congratulations, my friend. You topped the women's category with 7,700 push-ups, which is way more than I could ever do. Congratulations. All right, teams. So top team finishers, Sierra Hotel Papa, almost 6,000 miles. Lots of them were inside cycling miles, but like I said early on, it doesn't matter. Doing 6,000 miles on any mode, inside or outside, is ridiculous. So congratulations to Sierra Hotel and Papa. Outside miles. I recognize two groups here. One is the ODDC, number one, 3,419 miles. And I want to highlight that they were second in the overall miles with 4,101, a massive, massive achievement. And I would be amiss if I didn't recognize my friend from the Clifton Cycling Club, the CCC Chicks, who had almost 2,500 miles outside. And I want to recognize that they were second in the outside miles and third in the overall miles. So Both groups, both the ODDC and CCC chicks, have participated in the BRRR for a long time, and they always crush it every year. And so again, important that I recognize both of those teams for all the effort that they put in. It's really, really, really awesome. Team Bravo Zulu, running 1,800 running miles, mostly outside, but not as many as our friends from Soul Sisters #1. Soul Sisters is another team that's participated many years of the challenge, and they won the outside running category with 1,521. Walking, ODDC #1, 1,142. They also had the most outside walking miles, and I mentioned my love and the importance of walking outside. So congratulations to the ODDC group. And I also want to shout out to Brad Gilman. Brad is the grandfather of the ODDC and a ringleader, and he's already recruiting for next year. Just to give you a heads, all those other top teams, he's already looking for people to join. So it's never too early to start thinking about your team for 2027. Biking, Sierra Hotel Papa, 5,700 miles. Again, it's just a lot. Biking outside, ODDC #1, again, almost 2,800 miles. Swimming, Stinky O Guys and Beautiful Mermaids. That's Sandy's group, 300 plus miles of swimming, which again makes my head hurt thinking about how that's even humanly possible as someone who is not a good swimmer at all. Paddling, rowing, row house. So my friend Xana, a long time EX2 staff member, formed a team this year with her rowing group. 850 miles of rowing, which is ridiculous and awesome. Congratulations, Xana, and your awesome team. And then Rubber Souls took the skiing competition with almost 1,000 miles of skiing. So congratulations. Corporate team top finishers. We had some new champions this year. Our friends from Metro Star took the corporate title. Overall miles is the Metro Star Striders with 3,100 plus miles. And then the outside miles is the Metro Star Momentum team with 834 miles. So congratulations to all the corporate teams, and particular congrats to our friends from Metro Star. Again, they had the biggest team of 80 participants across their company. And thanks to Tucker for being the sort of the leader of that effort. And thanks for all the folks who are involved in making that happen, for your support of home stretch and of the event. And congrats again. It's pretty awesome. Thank you, everybody, for participating, and I hope you had fun. And we're going to do it again in 2027. I am going to send out an opportunity to provide feedback. We've tweaked the event pretty much every year we've had it. There are certain limitations, and there's certain parts about it that are just kind of is what it is, but the intent will stay the same. Is to encourage people to get outside and be active and make connections with people and just enjoy the great outdoors. And so when you get that survey, if you have ideas or thoughts of things we could do better or different things to include, I am always open for new ideas, and I want to continue to make the event something that people want to do and want to continue to do it in the future. So that's all I have. Thank you all very, very much. I appreciate everyone, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of the year. And if you happen to be in our area and want to come hang out with us at one of our in-person races, our races start March 1st. And we have lots of fun trail running races and mountain bike races and adventure races and all sorts of cool stuff. And so, if you don't live in the area or that's not your jam, I hope you consider joining the BRRR again in 2027. Again, thank you very much for all your support, and keep on being good to yourself and being good to each other. And we'll see you outside. Sound good? Awesome. Thank you, everybody. Very, very much appreciate it. And again, I'm very grateful for your support. Thanks. So this is recorded, and I'll get it out to everybody. That's all I got. Thanks.